Now, the Department of Justice is considering moving the Eastern Cape Division of the High Court in Makhanda to Bhisho. This after a government committee recommended the move. However, a group of opposing the move is united in its argument, saying unemployment would skyrocket. Our reporter Siphosethu Booi has more.
The residents are gearing up for a battle to stop the Makhanda High Court being moved to Bhisho. A report compiled by a commission tasked with the rationalization of High Court jurisdictions has recommended the provincial court seat be moved to the Eastern Cape's capital city. This would reduce the court's workload by at least 2/3, resulting in an estimated loss of 5,000 jobs.
For what purpose? Why should all the services be concentrated in one part of the province? And besides, that recommendation is rather debatable. Gauteng's seat of the High Court is in Pretoria, but the seat of the province is in Johannesburg. And so it's a very, very unconvincing argument.
This will be the fourth time in 30 years that the residents and judiciary fight to keep the High Court in Makhanda. Every time it has been a unanimous decision of the government and the judiciary to let the High Court stay as the main seat of the Eastern Cape Division. The residents here say nothing has changed and that the proposed move will still place their town in a peril.
Something that's important to render quite explicit is that in towns and cities like Makhanda that are quite small and deeply interwoven, interconnected, the potential impact on one sector has ripple consequences throughout the entirety of the city because it becomes difficult to disentangle one area from the other. And that's particularly one of the biggest concerns if this High Court move were to happen, is that the impact would have not just an impact or negative effect on the legal fraternity, but it would have quite a severe and devastating one on the economy.
A recent economic impact report compiled in response to the Commission's recommendation estimates the move would result in a loss of earnings between 230 million to 370 million rands from Makhanda's already fragile economy.
We are also mindful that many provincial departments that provide or should be providing services to communities are severely underfunded, and that rather than spend unnecessarily on moving a seat of a court to another geographic location, those funds could be far better spent on improving access to health, improving access to education.
Surely we should have been allowed to maybe provide insight into that process and assist the Commission coming up with good recommendations, whether they are interim or final.
The Commission, headed by the former Deputy Chief Justice Departmenc, proposed the move, saying the seat of the division should be located in a provincial capital city. This would mean lawyers, advocates, prosecutors, Legal Aid South Africa and the Legal Resources Centre will move offices to Bhisho, leaving Makhanda a ghost town.
The idea that there will be no litigation in Makhanda is a fallacy. The idea that there will be no court in Makhanda is a fallacy. But also we're not just looking at the population as an issue. What we're also looking at, Stephen, is access to justice in the literal sense. So if you live in Bhisho and you're required to appeal a matter in the main court, you would have to go all the way, the main seat. You'd have to go all the way across to Makhanda.
Makhanda's legal, religious, academic and business communities, together with civil society organizations, have once again united to oppose this proposal.
The submission deadline to the Moseneke Commission of Inquiry is on the 27th of January. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Siphosethu Booi in Makhanda.